The dance journey.
Don't make me laugh though. Don't make me laugh because then I'm gonna have to edit all this out. Hey guys, welcome to the dance journey. On today's episode, we're gonna talk about auditioning for a dance school and a school that has a dance program. And to help me out to talk about this, I have Kailyn. You get the official dance journey introduction. How are you, girl?
I'm good.
Good. So Kailyn, how old are you?
I am 13 and I'm turning 14 in August.
Turning 14 in August. So you are about to go into high school.
Yeah.
Big deal.
Yeah. It's
Yes.
nervous, but I gotta do it.
Okay, and you're gonna go into a new school, not the current school that you're in.
No, mine is only K through 8.
K3. Okay, are you excited about that? Are you nervous? Like, are you counting down the days? Because it's summer now, so it's like soon. It's like coming now.
Yeah, my teachers are like the number of the days on like their board, so it's a little scary because I've been here for a long time.
Okay.
Like I started like at kindergarten, and so it's a little scary, but I like to do dance, so it's like a new experience.
Okay, because we're gonna go into a school that has a dance program. That's what we're gonna talk about today. Okay, Kailyn. So let's backtrack a little bit. How long have you been dancing?
I started dancing in November 2021, like here, but just normal. And then I think 6 months I auditioned, and then I got in.
To the
To
competition
the
team. Okay, so 2021, right now we're in 2024, so like 3-ish years you've been dancing. So that's actually a really short amount of time. For people that don't know, dance is a sport that takes a really long time to get better at. So, 4, 5, 6, 7 years is when you become like really good at it. So 3 is really short. What made you decide to start dancing? Period. Like back in 2021, what made you say like, hey mom, I want to dance?
So it was like COVID had started, and when it was 4th grade when it happened, and then in 5th grade I didn't do anything, and it got really boring. So I was like, oh, I want to try something new, and I tried soccer. I didn't like it as much, and then I was like, oh, let me try dance, and then the studio was pretty close. So then I tried, and I really liked it. I tried most classes, and my favorites were hip hop and acro.
Okay, I mean, duh. You're gonna try dance, of course you're gonna love it. Okay, all right, so let's fast forward now. You've been dancing for 3 years, you've been training. What made you decide that you wanna audition for a school that has a dance program? Because that's a big deal. That's a big deal. That's not like at a studio that offers like recreational classes for kids, that are learning to dance. When you audition for a school, you have to already know how to dance. You have to audition with kids that are already very good. So what made you make that decision? Like, I want to audition for a school that has a dance program.
So when I started company, it was just hip hop. So like I got a good background with hip hop, and I loved it so much that I wanted to do technique too. And then so I started doing like jazz and contemporary, and I loved it so much. I fell in love with it immediately, and I just wanted to try something new, and I knew I would get way better for only starting at a short amount of time if I went to a dance school, and it's something I really want to do.
That makes sense. So you just wanted to dance more?
Yeah.
Because when you go to a dance school, you're dancing during school hours and then at your studio after school. Okay, so you made the decision. Mom, I want to go to a school that has dance. Okay, so what was your next step? Because again, you had just started to train. You were not necessarily a super competitive dancer with all this technique. You were still learning. So what made you what was your next step after deciding, okay, I want to do the audition? What did you do? What did you tell your mom?
So the program for magnet schools, it opened in March, and I was like, oh, I want to try something new. And then I saw that you could do dance in high school, and so I know I didn't have that much training, so I asked you to help me with like private, so you can help me do correct exercises, so I can do it in my home, and so I can get better and have more technique, so I could do well.
Okay, so you started to train a little bit more.
Yeah.
You took private lessons to kind of catch yourself up to par. Do you remember, I know all this information, but I want you to share it, with everybody watching. So we decided, okay, let's do private lessons so we can catch you up. Do you remember how long we did that for? How long we took those private lessons before audition time came?
I think we did it like, it was about like 3-4 months, I think.
Okay. So it was like crunch time.
Yeah.
Because again, 3-4 months is nothing. Absolutely nothing. You know, if you're especially if you're working on so many things, because you're not just working on one thing. You're not just working like, okay, I need to get an aerial. You can get an aerial in 3 months, but you're working on everything, like your posture, your arms, your legs, your flexibility, your feet, your understanding of technique, your understanding of choreography, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. In 3 months, it was doable, but you had to put in a lot of work, right? Like you had to practice at home. You had to put in a lot of extra work. So you had to work like quadruple the amount of time that probably what the other kids were working, so you can catch up. Okay. So during this time that you were that you were pushing yourself to be up to par to audition, did you go see these schools before auditioning for them, or did you just like show up at the audition?
No, I went around the schools, like I drove around them to see like the layout.
I peeked. That's kind of creepy, Kailyn.
Because I wasn't allowed in, so I was like to see how it would look like if I was to go there.
I was not expecting that answer. I creeped. I drove around like a creep. Okay. All right. So you went around the school so you can kind of
see what I would go to if I did go there. And then some schools did like if like the program you wanted to go to, they did a time that you would go. You would like do a meeting with the principal, and then you would go to your like the magnet, and then the teachers would talk to you, and I could see where I audition and like how they thought it would be, and like why they think it's a good decision. And it was very like comforting to know where I was gonna go, and the teachers already a little.
Yeah, that's actually awesome that some schools provide that for you. You know, like the kids that want to go into the school, you can kind of, because you can do that for college. Colleges, you can go see them beforehand, walk around campus, et cetera, before you like choose to pick that school. But they don't really do that for high schools. Not until you are already enrolled in the high school, then you have your orientation. But that's awesome that some schools provided that for you, where you were able to go in, see the facility, meet the teacher, so that way you could, because it really helps with making the decision, like, is this the right school for me? You know, is this teacher like really nice? Do I want to work with this teacher for my next 4 years in high school? So that was good. Okay, so audition day comes, audition dates come, because you audition for multiple schools, not just one. Okay, so auditions were coming up, and I want you to tell me what you felt the very first audition that you went to. How was that one? Because that's the one that breaks the ice. Your very first one is like, okay, this is the first one. And then it, gets a little better after. But I want you to tell me how you felt the very first audition.
So for the first audition, that one, I had seen the school, but that one sadly didn't I could see the teachers. So I didn't know where to go. So I had to ask someone for help. And I was really nervous.
Typical first day of school, lost.
Yeah, and then so I got there, and then people were coming. And then it was just the students were helping out, and it was it made it easier because I know that people did it and they're enjoying it because they want to help out, and it was after school or on the weekend, so I knew that they enjoyed it, so it would probably be great for me. And then I was pretty nervous because when they told us to stretch, I'm thinking what can I do, make sure I look good.
They're watching me.
And making sure to remember all the combos and the choreography they did, and then doing well in improv. It was just a lot to take in, but then doing it once, I was okay, this wasn't bad. I did pretty good, and it was way better.
So let me ask you a little bit more about that. So that first audition, can you walk us through exactly what you did, what they asked for, or how did what was it that you did at the audition?
So we were in a room, and then they made us go into the place we were gonna audition. We stretched, and then we started with ballet. We did many bars, slow, adagio, fast ones, moving a lot. And then we did I think 2 center, which was a lot of leaps. And pas de bourrée, stuff like that. And then we did across the floor kicks, holds. And then we did jumps, like we did firebird, and then front leap, side leap, like across the floor, back and forth, left and right. And then we did turns. And we did like pirouettes, pencil turns, elastic cones.
Okay.
And then they did the contemporary like choreography that they taught in groups. And then, well, they taught like half, so it would be like we could all see. And then we did it in smaller groups. And we did the choreography, and then at the end for like 2-8 counts we would improv for the rest of it, and then it was to sign, and we did it a couple times.
Okay. Were you nervous when they split you up into groups?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because they were splitting it by like your name, so I was like if you were in front or back. If you were right in front of them.
Yeah.
Like for most of them, my middle name is like. My last name is like right in the middle, so I was always front center. It was so scary.
Of course, you're like, great. Hi guys, hi judges. Okay, yeah. When it comes time, usually what happens is when a lot of kids, when they're learning the choreography in a large group, they're like super confident, and then when it splits up, it's like they blank out. Yeah. They blank out, and then they make mistakes that they haven't made in the past 45 minutes or however long they were learning the combo. So it happens. It used to even happen to me when I was an adult, but you have to find ways to navigate yourself around that, you know. Okay, so that was your first audition. You were nervous. Yeah. Did you feel confident walking out of that audition, or did you feel like, no, this was a total mistake, I don't want to do this ever again? Or like, were you defeated, or were you like confident for the next one?
I wasn't like super confident, but I didn't think I did that bad.
Okay.
But I was like, it was my first one, and I didn't know how it was gonna go, and so I did, I think, as good as I could have, like for that first audition, but it wasn't like the greatest I could have done. Okay,
but that's good that you were like nice to yourself. You know, you weren't defeated, because sometimes, you know, when we have these difficult situations, like going to an audition for the first time ever is a very difficult situation. And then, you know, kids come out of it defeated. Like, I didn't do my best. I should have done this. I should have done that. And then they start saying like all these negative words to yourself. And instead you should talk to yourself and like be realistic. Like, this was my first audition. I didn't do my best, but like, that's okay. I have 6 more, you know, I have 6 more auditions that I have coming up in the next month. And this was my first one. This was like a warm up, you know? Okay, so you went to several other auditions after that. Yeah. Did you feel yourself getting like more confident as the auditions come? Okay. Yeah.
By the last one, I was like, oh, I did really good on this.
Yeah. Okay, and good. And that's exactly what matters. But if you would have like defeated yourself from the first one, you would have never felt like that. You probably wouldn't even have gone to the second one. You would have given up, or you would have gone to the second and the third one and not improved, you know? So it's very good to like keep a positive mind, especially when doing something that's like really hard, like auditioning. It's like really nerve-wracking. Okay, so that's awesome that you were good. And when you went to these auditions, did you feel like you were prepared for the auditions, or did you feel like all the hard work that you put in the 3-4 months prior, they were like useless? Or did you feel like you went to these auditions like knowing what to expect, or at least being prepared, you know, not like super lost and blind?
I wasn't super lost. It was just the problem that I was like worried about was not knowing like the terms they were saying.
Okay.
But then it turned out like the students that were helping them show it, I was like, okay, then it was better. And then I pretty much knew all the terms that they were using, and I was like, that was like the main part I was worried about. But
like the dance terminology?
Yeah.
Okay.
For the moves weren't hard, like I could do them, but it was because of those privates. If we didn't do that, I would have been pretty lost.
Okay, well that's why I had those privates with you, so I can prepare you for what could possibly happen, you know, because even if you don't know, because there's a difference between, let's use elastic turns for an example, okay? There's a difference between you knowing and understanding what an elastic turn is, but you can't do them, okay? There's a difference. But then the other difference is having absolutely no idea what that is, have never seen it before, and then a teacher's like, let me see your elastic turns. You're like, what does that even mean? You know, so there's a difference between you knowing what they are, but you can't really do them, and then having absolutely no clue what they're talking about. You know, so it's very good to go into an audition knowing what they're gonna ask you for, even if you can't do it, because you can always either fake it or, you know, work your way around it, or not look so so uneducated in dance. If you have some type of education and understanding of dance, then that puts you above somebody else that's just there because they just were bored and have nothing else to do and just, okay, let me just go to, and then they're like lost. Okay, so now the big reveal. So you got into a school. So your hard work paid off. You got into a school, and you actually got into a school that you wanted to get into. How was that feeling, OMG?
Oh my god. So
oh my god.
It came out at like 12 a.m. but it was a school night, so I was sleeping.
Okay.
But my mom, she had waited with my dad to see it, and they knew before me.
Okay.
So it was like, I wake up for school, and I forgot about it. I was like half asleep, and my mom tells me, like, oh my god. I was like, wait, I actually did, like, I don't know how I did it. And then...
What a great news to get in the morning. That's like better than waking up on your birthday.
It was like 7 a.m. and I'm waking up to getting into a school. It was so good.
Did you feel so proud of yourself?
I was so happy.
Like, yeah.
It took a lot.
Yeah, that's like, isn't that like such a good feeling when you put in like so much work and then it like pays off? Yeah, it's, you honestly, Kailyn, like the reason why I brought you on the show is because you did something that really nobody is, or no, at least nobody your age is really capable of doing. Like a very small amount of kids will take on a challenge that's like a hard challenge and then put in extra work, and then being super behind on that challenge, put in the extra work to catch up with the other kids and then succeeding. Like that doesn't happen so often with kids your age. One, because you're a teenager. Teenagers, they're growing and they just have all these emotions and there's too much going on, like in your life, and you're getting older and you're starting to understand the world around you. Your feelings change, you're making friends, you're going into this new school. There's so much going on that doing a challenge is not something that's really on your mind. You're more worried about friends and school and maybe going to parties, you know what I'm saying? So I was really proud of you that you kind of like stepped away from typical teenager life and you decided to do something for yourself and prove to yourself that if you really put your mind to it and put in a heck of a lot of work, you can literally succeed in anything you want. Because that's something that you're gonna have to use for the rest of your life, especially as an adult, So that's why I brought you here, because I wanted you to like share that it is possible, and it's not only possible with teenagers, like it can also be possible with kids or adults or, like older people. But because again, it's a challenge. It's something that's like really hard to do, and you had to put in so much work and you succeeded. So are you excited to start?
I'm nervous because it's
okay.
new, but I'm really excited to be able to do
You're gonna love it. You're gonna love it, and you're gonna love, it's gonna be a lot more work because you're gonna be dancing probably double the amount of time that you were dancing before. So it's a lot of work. You're gonna have to put in more effort in your school work, like your academics, like your math, your English, your science, etc. But it's gonna be great. And not only that, it's gonna help you get better at dance faster because you're gonna be dancing during school and after school too, So it's just gonna give you like that little extra push. Do you know what kind of classes you're gonna be taking once you start school, or you don't know yet?
Yeah, so there's two teachers. One is a jazz teacher and then there's a ballet teacher. And they said when we did like the first before auditions, they said that they get like other teachers to bring in like new styles that they don't normally teach. So then they guest
choreographers.
Yeah.
Okay.
So then we know more like stuff.
Okay.
Like dance styles.
Yeah, that's cool. Having guest choreographers is cool because you get to learn from a bunch of different people, which is awesome. Okay, so Kailyn, I want you to take like a little bit of time, and you're gonna look at the camera this time, not Miss Claudia, okay? And I want you, so pretend that there's like a person standing in front of you, like a kid, and you want to give them your advice on doing something like this, like auditioning for a school and getting into a school that has a dance magnet program. Like, what advice can you give maybe somebody who is going to 8th grade now and is going to work the whole year so they can, next year get into a high school, like what advice do you have for them? What do you want to tell them to, like reassure them that it's like possible to do it? 30 seconds, go. I'm just kidding.
So going into 8th grade, it's big because it's like your last middle school year. So there's a lot of stuff to do, but it was an amazing experience. And even though you have to work a lot, it's helped a lot to work at home, like by yourself, knowing what you have to do, knowing yourself, like how to push yourself, and like having, like, you might audition and you might feel like you didn't do well, but you probably did way better than you thought, and then you'll learn more about dance, something you love, and you'll maybe do it like me, and you got into school, which was, I didn't even know was possible, because I...
Or you could just be like me. You got into a school. I'm just kidding. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Awesome. Great advice. Great advice, Kay. Yeah, definitely. So I don't want to keep like repeating myself, but I'm just going to repeat myself one more time because it's so important to share how like important it is for kids to understand that if you want to do something, I guarantee you that it's going to be successful at the end. And one thing that I didn't mention earlier that I'm going to mention now is when you went to these auditions, you went to several different auditions. You didn't go to just one, meaning you didn't put all your eggs in one basket. You chose all these different schools that had different dance programs, and they're all different because every school is different. Every school has different dance directors, dance teachers, etc. And you went to every single audition because you wanted to give yourself options. And you ended up getting accepted into the school that you wanted to go to. The one that you really wanted to go to, that's the one that you got, like all your positive energy went into that school, and that's the one that you got accepted into. However, even if you would have not gotten accepted into that one and you would have gotten accepted into a different one, you went to different auditions to give yourself different opportunities, because maybe you didn't get into this one, but you'll get into this one. And if you didn't get into this one, you'll get yourself into this one. Not just putting all your hopes and dreams into one school and then maybe you don't make it and your dreams get crushed and that's it, you stop dancing, which I've seen happen before. I've seen students who have put all their energy, all their eggs in one basket, in one school, and they don't make it, and then they stop dancing after that because they're so crushed, which honestly, like, that's very unrealistic. That's very unrealistic. There's so many different options for schools that have dance programs and there's a lot of good ones. It's not that just one good one exists. There's a lot of good ones, especially here in Miami. There's a lot of schools that have awesome dance programs. So I'm very proud of you for making that decision. Like, okay, I'm gonna audition for 10, and even if I just get into one, I know that I at least did a really good job, and you got better and you improved, and your odds at getting into these schools became, higher because you got better at auditioning, because auditioning is a skill. You got better at it. So that's a really good thing to mention. Like, don't just put all your mind and energy in one school. There's plenty of other options, So thank you, Kailyn, for coming on the show. I appreciate you so much. I'm super proud of you, and I'm so excited that you're gonna start your high school journey in a dance school after only 3 years. That's like literally impossible. That's, it's never happened. So like, congratulate yourself. All right. Thank you, Kailyn.
Thank you for
You're the
having
best.
me.
Thank you for coming.